Hi there, welcome to Help Solve the Case. I'm Christine, and we are continuing our review of the Jared Bridegan case. We've got three defendants who have been arrested, who are innocent until proven guilty, but allegedly responsible for this case. We're going through the police report to find out exactly how the police developed their case so that we know what to expect when it goes to trial. And we've got a lot of things coming up, so we need to get to know the core facts. Thank you for being here. My name's Christine. If you don't know me, I'm a retired police detective and sergeant, law enforcement expert, and forensic genetic genealogist. I love all things criminal justice. And in here, we try to see what the prosecution's maybe going to present and what the defense is going to present, and then how it's all going to pan out for justice in general. So thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, and share if you would consider it. Very appreciative for that. So here we're on police report supplement number 128, and we did lose quite a bit in the middle, and that was probably held back on purpose because it is the meat of the case. So we may have to go back and look at some different pleadings if the defense has filed different motions to kind of see what the prosecution's strategy is going to be and what the defense's strategy is. Now, we know that the prosecution probably thought they had an ace in the hole, that Henry Tennon took a guilty plea and was going to testify, and he has since rescinded that. So we don't know how the case is going to shake out. But let's continue. Let's get our police report done, and then we'll move on to the other pleadings. So once again, thanks for being here. Hope you find it interesting. Couldn't do it without you. Thanks for joining me. All right. So here we have Thompson Hawkins, and we've got a Ford 2004. Let me put my glasses on. This is blurry. There we go. That's a little better. With my astigmatism and the blurry text, it's no good. All right. So we have a 2004 Ford truck, and it says blue and tan. Okay. So that's interesting to me. In our last video, we saw that the police, recovered a truck from a yard somewhere in Jacksonville. Okay. And this was a truck reportedly belonging to Henry Tennon, who is one of the suspects, one of the current defendants in the case, and the one that took the plea and now rescinded it. I'm noticing here about this blue and tan because if we go back to, I want to say a couple videos back, this is where the devil is in the details. We had some surveillance video, or it was the mom and her son, I'm not exactly sure, that talked about a two-tone blue and silver, I think it was. Okay, remember that? There was definitely the mention of the two-tone. And we also have mention of a truck way up on Cheddar Drive. And we're trying, you with me, I'm assuming, we're trying to determine if the police, and it seems like the police feel that the suspect or suspects followed the victim to the scene based on trucks that were observed up in the northern part of the city or the town where the restaurant was and coming back into the area. We also have some witness statements first on scene about trucks backing up and trucks coming around and trucks on video and all this stuff. Truck. But this is interesting to me about the blue and the tan. So that's a two-tone. All right. It says it has a Georgia tag and is stored in the Jack's Beach property room, and it is evidence. Okay, we have a Bluetooth beanie, which I guess is a hat with Bluetooth in it. I have a vest that has Bluetooth in it. It actually warms. It's a warming vest. We have value pawn and jewelry paper. Pawn shops are wonderful for gathering information. We've got Advance America papers. It might be a pawn shop, not sure. Small yellow notepad. Now remember, they did a search warrant on Henry Tennon's former residence. That's where we We came into this section. We lost a chunk of investigation in the middle, maybe about 60, 80 pages. And then bam, we started with this search warrant for Henry Tennon. So this could be things found in the truck or things found, it should be, if it was part of the search warrant, we should have heard about it already. I believe that these are probably things, if they got a search warrant for the truck, things that they found in the truck. So we've got a small yellow notepad, some mail, a beanie, another beanie, paper with Uncle Mike, a check, a business card, a gold latch, First Premier Bank papers, JEA paper, JE is the electric, IRS papers, PNC bank paper envelope, envelopes paycheck stub, PNC ATM receipt, 3 check stubs, PNC ATM, vehicle registration looks like, advance parts, is that advance auto parts receipt, face mask, lug nuts, cigarettes from ashtray. Why am I smiling today? Pair of socks, all good stuff, mail, boot box for steel toe boots. And we had seen in the other video that they were swabbing some boots. We're not sure if these are if this is the box for that. 2 bungee cords, 4 screws, baseball style hat, control swab, swab 31 sunglass holder, swab 29 front passenger headrest. Oh, headrest, my Ned. Swab 26 front passenger seatbelt, front passenger handle, front passenger door lock window, swab 23 front passenger armrest, interior door. I'm doing all the motions. If you can't see me in this circle, I'm doing all the motions. Front passenger chrome door handle, swab 30 charger, swab 29 seat adjustment controls, front passenger, glove box handle, front passenger seatbelt buckle. I'm loving this. Good going, guys and gals. Control swab 2, tailgate handle. Could be some latents under there, depending on what it is. Rear passenger chrome door handle. Over there. Rear passenger window switch. Rear passenger seatbelt. Let's get everything. There is never, and I've said this before, there is never too much. Ever, 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 ever. Because once it's gone and you can't go back and get it, you can never have too much DNA or too much swab or too many fingerprints. Never, ever, ever. Sergeant Burke says we love, 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 love. Okay. Rear passenger handle. Rear passenger inside grip armrest in the little, hole in there. Nice. Because sometimes, when you're in a truck, you got to hang on a little bit. Rear passenger seat adjustment. They're going to town. Makes me happy. Rear passenger headrest. Rear middle seat buckle. Middle rear seat belt. Rear driver seat belt buckle. Rear driver side seat belt strap. Music to my ears. Driver rear handle. Rear driver window control, rear driver side handle armrest, rear driver chrome door handle. We're gonna go through all our sheets here. The swab 37, rear driver headrest, rear driver or front driver handle, driver seatbelt buckle, center console, yeah. Radio air controls, yeah. I sound like a child at Christmas, don't I? Yes, look, another present. 5 gear shifter. 4 steering wheel. Driver interior door grip. Yes. Driver door switches buttons. Yes. Driver inside door handle. Rear view mirror. Overhead light switch. Get it, Christmas, yes. Front driver headrest. Control swab. Swab of jack. Top part. Because maybe they had to take the tire off of something. Good thought. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking this theory. Swab jack handle hole. Swab jack handle. Photographs. Brown boots. Bar for the jack. In the photo log. Okay, let's see. Oh, we didn't see who this was. It's probably one of our evidence guys. On 10/17/22 at approximately 09:30 hours, I responded to 1460 Shelter Avenue, JBPD property room to process a blue tan Ford F-150 with Georgia tag. I informed the property officer I would process in the truck. Please get your spell check in check. I would process in the truck and request the vehicle keys. I took photographs of the truck. It was covered by a blue tarp, hopefully a clean tarp. Once the tarp was removed, I took more overall photographs of the vehicle. The vehicle was still sealed from 10/14/2022. Once all the photographs were taken, Detective Lamont read the search warrant and also a corrected search warrant for the location of the vehicle. I'm glad they caught that, because every little you can mess up a search and a search warrant and bad stuff. And I know some of you are saying eventual discovery and all that stuff. And no. When we realize we messed up, we're gonna make it right. So love that. Once this was completed, Sergeant Smith and I began to photograph the vehicle with scales. And what they're talking about is rulers for measurement. We began with the truck bed. It had a beer can, 2 bottles of water, a latch, 4 screws, 2 bungee cords, other car parts, a kitchen knife, a pair of socks, and leaves. There were markings on the bed of the truck, which appeared to have been where a toolbox was once located. Once the bed of the truck was photographed and processed, I collected the bungee cords, socks, the latch, and 4 screws. The tailgate handle was swab. I unlocked the vehicle driver side door. I then unlocked all the vehicle doors and opened all of the doors to photograph the inside of the vehicle. Once all photographs were taken, I labeled the driver's side A, the back driver's side passenger B, the back passenger side C, the front passenger D. I took multiple swabs from inside the vehicle. The inside of the vehicle was separated into sections by numbers. All items were removed from the numbered section. Myself and detectives reviewed through the items containing evidentiary value were collected by myself. Oh, goodness gracious. All the seats were processed with the trace evidence vacuum, MVAC. I used one filter on the entire front seats. I used a separate filter on the back seats. I know it's expensive, but what if you had a different passenger? What if you had a different passenger than the driver? I know it's expensive. But now it's commingled. Just saying. Just a hint. Just saying. Once the truck was searched and all items were reviewed, the items were placed back in the truck. I sealed the truck. At the time, did not realize the driver and rear passenger door were not locked. Both of these seals were broken to lock the doors. I resealed both doors, writing my initials, date, and ID number. Once you realize you messed it up, just tell us you messed it up and fix it and note it. All items collected, swabs, and photographs were placed in the property room for secured storage until I was able to place the items into property. I placed all the items collected into property on 10/19. The filters from the trace evidence vacuum have not been placed into property and are currently secure in the evidence technician room. No. Okay, that should have been, whatever. All right, 129. We've got Thompson Hawkins. We got the Ford again. We got the control swab. We got the spare tire valve stem cap again on supplement 129. Swab from the middle of the rim on the spare tire, swab inside the rim from the spare tire. I don't know if they did it again because we've got different entry numbers. Swab rim on spare tire because they already did the spare tire unless this is a different spare tire. It doesn't really say. Hopefully he'll put that in the narrative that this was different than the tire in the road. Swab from middle rim on open spare tire because there's no description here about the make and the model and the rim size and all that jazz. So we can't tell what tire it is here, okay? That would have been helpful. There's blanks for that, FYI. Okay. Small tire from bed of truck. Okay, hopefully this is that tire. I don't know. Spare tire. How many tires are there? How many tires are there? Photos. I guess we'll have to check the photos. Let's see what they say. On 10/19/2022, I arrived at 1460 Cheddar Avenue, Jax Beach Police Department, processed the spare tire under the truck. So that's different than the truck in the road. I mean, the tire in the road. The spare tire was already lowered. With the assistance from Sergeant Smith, we unlocked the spare tire and placed it on a table to process. I swabbed multiple areas of the tire. What's the description on the tire? Is it the same kind of tire? Does it match the ones that are on the truck? Does it match the one that was on the scene? I swabbed multiple areas of the tire, collected the stem valve cap, photographed the tire. All swab stem valve cap photographs in the tire were placed into property. There was a small tire in the bed of the truck with 2 plugs in it. The tire was photographed, scales were placed near the plugs and photographed. The tire was collected and placed into property. Why wasn't that one swabbed? I checked out property item 8, the tire that was collected at the original scene. I reviewed the tire and the indentations. I resealed the package and placed the tire back into property. What kind of a bag does it take to put a tire in? It's got to be a huge bag. Okay, there's no description there. I wish we would have had a description. Okay. Trace. Okay, now we got more Thompson Hawkins trace evidence filters. It's probably from the MVAC, from the front seat, from the back seat. Oh, 3M. I don't know if that's MVAC. Probably is. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, it says no. It says a different company. So we hope that this was comparable to the MVAC. Okay. Lawrence Smith. On Monday, October 17, 2022, Detective Young requested I respond to the police property lot regarding processing a Ford F-150 truck. The truck was stored in a secured lot, was covered with a blue tarp. Once the tarp was removed, I saw the doors were taped with evidence tape to ensure chain of custody. All the tape was intact. Thank you for letting us know that, leading me to believe no one had entered the vehicle after it was secured in the property lot. As the evidence technician unit's supervisor, nice to know, my role in this investigation was to provide support to the investigating evidence technician, detectives, and other investigators while the truck was being processed. The interior cab of the truck was packed with boxes, paperwork, and tools. It was determined the most efficient way to document these items was to designate sections of the cab, front and back seats. These sections were numbered with temp markers. I collected items from the designated sections and placed it on a nearby table where the investigators could determine the individual evidentiary value of each item. Items that were identified as not having evidentiary value at this point in the investigation were photographed and returned to the cab of the truck. Okay, this says October 17th. Now, did we not okay, the vehicle is still sealed from 10/14. Okay, I want to make sure because now we got somebody else in there. Okay. On 10/19, he returned the spare tire. Okay. Got to check our dates, make sure we got our stuff correct. Christopher Lee Johns, he's our detective. Lead detective, computer forensic report. Computer forensic report disc Bridegan. Computer forensic report Ordway, Moto G Pure. So they must have got stuff back from, what's his name? Must from the ATF. Okay, so we got consent, forensic, search warrant. This report is being generated to attach a copy of the search warrant for Potomac Avenue. Computer forensic report from the JSO is also received for Bridegan's personal computer and 2 portable storage devices. The written report will be attached, and the disk will be placed in a property. Nothing of note found. A disk was provided by JSO Computer Forensics for Motorola Moto G Pure belonging to Jeremy Ordway. He provided written consent to search the device. Okay. Oh, here's the report. Put the glasses on, it's blurry. Nothing of note. Okay, so this is a computer. They photographed it. Okay. On 5/12/2022, Detective Christopher Johns delivered 2 additional Apple computers and 2 external portable hard drives related to this case, along with the submission form to the Computer Forensic Investigations Unit. Legal search authority was established, accompanied search warrant. Previously spoken with Detective Johns via phone records in regards to this submitted CFI analysis request form, which contained a summary of his investigation. I conferred with Detective Johns regarding the matter and discussed investigative avenues and potential digital evidence being sought in the investigation. Detective Johns requested any emails, picture message, text correspondence, and web search history. In addition, he requested any other data that may assist with the investigation. Okay, I'm not going to go with all this la 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 la. Let's see if we got any. So he hashed it. La la. Keywords. No artifacts of evidentiary value recovered. So that's interesting. So he's making, it sounds like he's making a determination using these keywords if things were of evidence. Now, is the defense going to go through here using those keywords and find other things that they believe are exculpatory or of evidentiary value? 3 internet browsers, timeline, no artifacts of investigative interest noted, more pictures, hard drives, just got the hierarchy here of the folders. Okay, so it looks like they don't have really anything there. Here's a report from Jason Allen Lamont. I don't know what that is. Looks like a little locker. Can't tell. At approximately 1100 hours, Henry Tennon's cell phone was received from Cellbrite, so they must have sent it off. The cell phone was placed back into property as evidence. Seller phone data was placed in the case folder. Data will be reviewed for further information. Thomas Crumley II. On the morning hours of Wednesday, 10/19/2022, I met with Sergeant Young, Sergeant Smith, and Officer Hawkins regarding the processing of the suspect vehicle in this case. I think that is the first time we've heard it referred to as the suspect vehicle. A 2004 blue and tan Ford F-150 four-door truck with the Georgia tag. We discussed processing of the vehicle and any further needs. Now, they were in it on this date, right? Told that during the original processing of the vehicle, both Smith and Hawkins were unable to lower the spare tire, or that was on the 17th. To be processed because of the tool belonging to the vehicle being damaged. With the tool being damaged, they postponed retrieving the tire from underneath the vehicle where it was in its proper storage location. I stated during the meeting at 1300 hours that afternoon we would meet to lower the tire. So he went he got somebody that worked somewhere in the city or something that knows the F-150s and got his tool to lower the tire. So he put on sterile rubber gloves. That's good. Inserted the tool, lowered the tool, didn't touch the tool, and they took the tire. All right, Jason Lamont. We've got audio video interview of Jeremy Ordway. On Thursday, October 6, 2022, at approximately 900 hours, the search warrant for Potomac Avenue was conducted. 4 individuals were found present. We know that. Jeremy, Norma, Devin, and Dane. We talked about that on the prior video. While the residence was searched, he conducted recorded interviews. So this is Jeremy. At approximately 13:06 hours, the interview with Ordway was conducted at the Criminal Gun Intelligence Center in Jacksonville. Okay, that's downtown, which is interesting to me. Also present was ATF Special Agent M. Stengel. I just wonder what's in his background. Ordway was read his Miranda warnings from a pre-printed departmental document. Ordway advised he understood his rights and wished to speak with detectives. Ordway began the interview, because remember, they talked to the rest of the people in the car. Remember? But now they're downtown at this gun intelligence center with ATF. Ding, ding, ding. Ordway began the interview explaining his relationship with Henry Tennon. Ordway advised he came to Jacksonville to take care of his father, and Tennon was his neighborhood. God help us. Ordway stated he was as close as you could be with someone, calling them friends. Ordway began explaining there was construction on Potomac Avenue and the two would frequently have flat tires. Ordway described Tennon's truck sitting in the driveway with a flat tire at one point, but did not give a time frame. Ordway advised Tennon receive the truck from his father once he passed away. Ordway stated Tennon did not have the truck that long. Ordway advised he helped Tennon retrieve the truck from Georgia at the end of 2021. Ordway would go on to explain he talks to Tennon once a couple weeks. Ordway reiterated he does not talk with Tennon by phone very much. Ordway stated he is aware Tennon carries 2 phones. Ordway stated he did not know the other number. According to Ordway, Tennon received a deal for 4 phone lines. Ordway began describing Tennon and Janie Deal's relationship. Now, I'm not sure we've heard of Janie Deal. Have we? I don't remember that name. Ordway advised they had been together for 20-plus years. Deal would come over to the house for 30 minutes at a time. Deal used to live with Tennon at the Potomac address prior to Ordway living there. Ordway was asked if he ever drove around Jacksonville with Tennon. Ordway advised he took Tennon to his DUI classes prior to Tennon having the truck. Ordway advised when Tennon got his truck, he helped him bring a refrigerator from Home Depot. Ordway stated he never knew Tennon to allow anyone to borrow the truck. Ordway was asked about the whereabouts of the Crown Vic Tennon was arrested in. Ordway advised there was an issue with the transmission and his boss is working on it. Ordway advised his boss is going to purchase the vehicle. Ordway advised Tennon originally received the Crown Vic in the truck when his father died. Ordway was asked what kind of clothes Tennon would typically wear. Tennon was described typically wearing jeans and t-shirts. Ordway advised he would wear tan work boots. Ordway would go to describe a time last year when Tennon went to look a job with Mario Saldana. Ordway stated Saldana wanted Tennon to fill a pool in, but Tennon refused to do the job. Ordway began describing an old Navy guy who was recently doing work on the house. Ordway advised he showed up to the house, put 6 towels down, and he hasn't seen him again. According to Ordway, Saldana came back with a younger Hispanic man to finish the tile. Ordway was asked about the location of the truck. Ordway advised the last time he saw the truck, it was at Twins Grocery. Ordway advised he let Tennon borrow a $1,000, but he had not been paid back. Ordway was asked about Michael Connors and his involvement. After Tennon was arrested, Connors called Saldana several times. I don't think we know who Michael Connors is either, do we? Ordway advised Connors is a, quote, crackhead, end quote, who was crashing on his couch. Okay, now we do. Ordway could not remember if Connors was present the day Tennon was arrested. Ordway stated Connors does not know Saldana. Ordway advised he probably used Connors' phone to call Saldana. Ordway would go on to explain he does not know Saldana other than renting his house. Ordway advised he did not know Saldana was even married. Ordway stated he wished he never moved into the house. Ordway went on to explain Saldana asked him to change the lease to end in December so he could sell the house. That deal has apparently ended due to realtors coming by and looking at the house. Ordway was asked about the new lease, which Saldana was trying to get Norma and Dane to sign since they were living there. Ordway advised he thought it was, quote, bullshit, end quote, and told them not to sign it. Ordway was asked how Tennon would get involved with this murder. Ordway stated he was heavily intoxicated during this time due to his own father's death on 2/11/2022. That's sad. Always hard to lose a parent, no matter your relationship. Ordway did not believe Tennon owed Saldana anything. Ordway stated Tennon did not tell him any details from the night of Bridegan's murder. Ordway was asked about the phone call Ordway made to Tennon the night of the murder. Previously, Ordway stated he was probably calling Tennon for a ride. Ordway now stated he has never called Tennon for a ride other than picking up the refrigerator. Ordway stated he has never had anyone but Deal answer Tennon's phone. So, it sounds like there might be more information here than we know, right? So, Ordway stated Tennon didn't tell him any details from the night of Bridegan's murder. So is that Ordway knew about the murder, but Tennon didn't tell him anything? You know, did this happen after? Like, because he knew that Tennon was arrested? Apparently there was some questioning between Tennon's arrest and this conversation, right? Because it says Ordway was asked about the phone call made to Tennon the night of the murder. Previously, he stated he was probably calling Tennon for a ride. So this is not his, this is at least his second conversation. And we've got some potential discrepancies here, it appears. Okay. Now, we don't know that Ordway's involved in this case at all or whatever. We're just trying to interpret what the heck this police report is saying. And we got a huge chunk of this police report missing. Ordway was asked if he has ever been in Jacksonville Beach. Ordway stated he worked for a tow company in Mayport 15 years ago and would work in Jacksonville Beach. Since Ordway has been back in Jacksonville, he advised he has not been to Jax Beach. Ordway was asked if the truck had any sentimental value to Tennon. Ordway advised he treated the truck like a truck and did not keep care of it. Ordway advised he spoke with Dwight Tennon after Henry Tennon's arrest. Ordway stated Dwight already knew about the arrest and he wanted Dwight Tennon to come get the dog, which was left at the house. Ordway advised after Tennon's arrest, he contacted Saldana and told him to, quote, handle his business, end quote. Ordway alluded to Saldana knowing what happened the night of the murder. Ordway further stated he would know because it was his wife's ex-husband. Ordway would not say if he knew what Saldana knows about the murder, if he knows anything. Ordway went to explain his contact with Saldana is sparingly. Ordway was asked about an individual named Marquise Carter. I don't think we've heard this name either. Ordway advised he did not know who Carter was. Ordway was asked about Carter because there was a communication between both of their phones the night of the murder. Ordway continued to adamantly state he did not know who Carter was. Ordway advised his association with Saldana and Tennon was limited and he had no role in this murder. Ordway stated he never knew Saldana or Tennon to go to Jacksonville Beach together. Ordway reiterated Tennon was asked to help Saldana in filling in a pool, but he does not know where this pool is. Ordway was asked for consent to conduct a search of his cellular phone. Ordway gave verbal consent to search his cellular phone. Ordway also signed a pre-printed departmental consent form. Ordway also gave verbal consent to request his cell site data. Previously in the interview, Ordway stated he would be willing to call Mario Fernandez Saldana. I'm trying to elicit some information. Ordway was asked if he would be willing to conduct a control call with Saldana, and he agreed. Here we go. At approximately 15:52 hours, a control call was conducted with Saldana. Ordway informed Saldana the ATF served a search warrant at Potomac Avenue. Saldana asked if Ordway received any contact information or a copy of the search warrant. Saldana wanted to know what was taken from the residence. Ordway asked why a search warrant would be conducted at Potomac. Saldana stated he does not know why and it does not make sense. Saldana apologized for Ordway having to deal with the situation. The call ended. So it sounds like he didn't take the bait. If, because innocent until proven guilty, if Saldana is involved at all. This is all we know right now, okay? Ordway was asked if he believed Saldana had any involvement in this murder. Ordway advised he did not know if Saldana had any involvement. Ordway was asked if he was working the night of the murder. Ordway advised he was not working because he was heavily drinking due to his father's death. So Ordway's father died or Tennon's father died? Okay, I'm confused. Ordway began describing an associate of Tennon's named, quote, Rabbit, end quote. Ordway did not know who, quote, Rabbit was, but Tennon would talk about him. Ordway went on to explain Tennon knows a lot of people in the area of his residence. Ordway went on to explain he does not understand how Tennon became involved in this murder. Ordway began to describe the way Tennon treated the truck. Ordway did not believe the truck had any sentimental value due to him damaging the truck. Ordway went to explain Tennon told him he took the truck to a mechanic who had 10 cars in front of him. Ordway spoke about the 1,000 he loaned Tennon. Ordway advised Tennon had not repaid him and he didn't expect it until the truck was fixed. End of interview. Okay, and then we got redaction pages. So that's all we have right now of the preliminary interview. I am going to go look, and I saw some things about wiretapping or different things. The cases, I think we've got August or September until we really get into the nitty gritty with the trial here. Again, I appreciate all your support for the channel, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for being here. Please let me know in the comments if you like this, what you would like to see, other cases you want to talk about. And certainly, if there's a document that you find or some crazy stuff that doesn't violate the YouTube terms of conditions, please send me the link in the community or send a link in the comments, and I try to respond to those as quickly as I can. I will see you on the next one.